Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the fifth episode of Experience Matters. And today we have with us Sanglap Basu, who has been associated with ZS Associates for the last 1.5 years. And he has been working in one of the finest consultancy firms when we talk about consultancy sector in India. ZS is one name that comes time and again. And my channel also, you must have been familiar with a lot of content about ZS Associates. And today we have the man himself with us to guide us through the journey that he has been with. So going straight away and cutting the clutter, Sanglap, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Soumajit. Life has been good. It was COVID. Between the COVID, I got the job in ZS, and I was lucky enough to cope up with the work that I was required to do, and it's been pretty good till now.
Great, great. That's a great thing to know. Yes, we all have been dealing with COVID, and in COVID particularly, the consulting, the sector has got a lot of boom, and everyone is nowadays talking about consulting. It is the hot cake of the town, to say. So I would like to hear from the horse's mouth itself, since you have been working in the consulting domain for quite a time now. What are your takes on it? How do you conceive consulting to be a sector?
Consulting to be a sector can be perceived as one which can give you a tremendous exposure at a very young age. That is a very good thing. You are directly communicating with the senior leaderships of your clients at a age that you couldn't imagine. So it gives you that exposure. Along with it, if you have that much of luck, it gives you that luxury to travel sometimes or be in fancy parties, as you might seen. So that is one of the thing. And if I talk about it from a paycheck perspective, yeah, it's a good industry overall in the long run as well.
Great, great, great. So my follow-up question to that is, everyone has been talking about consultancy. You have said that there are a lot of parties. You get to meet the senior management of companies. You do a client-facing role as well. You have a lot of exposure.
Yes.
The pay is also good. We understand all of that. But, generally there is a confusion about the job role of a consultancy guy. So what exactly do the consultants do? If you would enlighten a few lines on that, what is the exact job role of a consultant?
So mainly, according to me, what I have seen, consultants mainly help their clients with their shared knowledge, or I may say expertise, in order to attain their business goals in some way or the other. Because the profit here is for the client, as they don't have to bear an overhead fixed cost to hire an full-time employee, if I can clearly mention that. So hiring a consultant would be a very good way to get some thoughts again from an outsider who can give you fresh ideas. So that is the whole point. Yeah.
Great, great. Understood. So it is basically a client facing role where you solve the queries, the business problems of the clients. So that's the basic structure of a consulting job role, if we try to
Yes.
summarize. Consulting, this thing, recently has been much in talk. So I just wanted to know, according to you, is consulting a fad or a fashion that would stay for some 1 year or 2 years from here, or is it here to stay? Is it going to grow more in demand as we go ahead? And what is the role of analytics in this? How important do you think analytics will also play a part in that consulting role? And is it a fad, or is it going to grow over time?
Yes. Yeah. So I think consulting is here to stay, as long as I am seeing it, because as I mentioned, it's profitable for the businesses to hire consultants only for their short-term jobs, and the expertise or the knowledge the consultancy firm carries, and based on their clientele and all. So it will go, like it will sustain in the long run too, as far as this business is concerned. And talking it from the analytics part, see, every decision which has to be taken should be backed by data nowadays, because data plays a very big role in any of the businesses or for any company. So there plays the role of analytics. And if you can see some trends that like majorly the big strategy firms, for example, BCG, Boston Consulting Group, has developed their own analytics arm also, like BCG Gamma. Similarly, McKinsey and Company, they have acquired a company called Quantum Black to grow its AI. So as we see these trends, we can clearly see that analytics or data science, machine learning, these are growing tech which will help the consulting firms to give a proper solution to the clients in order to take better decisions.
Yes, yes, yes. So everything is backed by data, as you correctly mentioned. Right. And it is here to
definitely
stay. It is here to stay, and it is here to grow more, I think. Because nowadays businesses also are looking for their core expertise only, and they're trying to solve their problems by hiring external consultants, which is not their core competency, trying to get an external bird's eye view of it. I think this is how it is working. Right.
Correct. And overall, if I have to say, like how this industry works, like some of us would join consulting, would get that exposure for a few years, and then we might leave for any other company, or may settle down in some big firms. And that gap which is created, it will be fulfilled by the current batch or the current set of students who wanted to join consulting. So this way, consulting will go on and on. It will never stop.
Right. Understood. Now, the much awaited question, when we talk about consultancy, you have been working in a consultancy firm for the last 1.5 years. So you've been working in ZS, one of the most renowned consultants of the country right now. So people are really curious to know, how is life at ZS, if we talk about ZS in particular, and what is your job role in ZS Associates?
Sure. Okay. So to answer your first question, how is life at ZS? I would be giving my perspective wholly. And from my point of view, I am having a ball of a time, to be very honest. So maybe I'm lucky, but I'm having a ball, literally. I have some cool seniors, mentors, team leads to work with. And I'm also enjoying the work that I'm doing with a proper work-life balance, I feel. And yeah, life is good.
And coming to the second part of the question, what is your job role being a business operative associate? Because many people are applying for the BOA role. What is the exact job that you need to do?
Okay, so as the name says, business operations associate. So mainly we deal with operations, like business processes for the clients. And we talk with the clients, we hear their issues, what they're facing in their business processes. We try to understand what's the gap. We try to improve the process. And sometimes in the long run, we also strive to automate that process in order to help the client and also grow us in some more sectors or some more areas of that client.
Great. So basically trying to solve the problems of the business operations of the clients, understanding their problem and giving an automated solution in the long run, sustainable solution. Understood.
Correct.
Understood. So just a follow-up question on this, since you have been working with ZS, you are having a ball of a time. How did you manage to crack ZS? Or if I generalize the question, what do you think should be the strategy, the tips and tricks, in quotes, to crack ZS Associates? What kind of courses you need to do? What kind of preparatory materials or preparation is required to crack ZS? Because many people give appears in the process of ZS Associates, and that goes on year long. So people have been asking, what is that exact formula or funda that works to crack ZS Associates? What kind of preparation or courses would be required?
Okay. So to answer this, I would be able to give a generalized solution, because the time when I gave like when I was going through this process, the first round, which is actually mainly the aptitude round, was different. And nowadays, what I have heard from my juniors, it has changed a bit. So like no tips and tricks from in that case from me. Only thing I would say is to practice a lot of aptitude questions. Mainly we can practice it from India Bix, which the college students are mostly familiar with. It's all about speed. What I would say, it's all about speed. You just have to practice and gather all those formulas in your head and try crunching those sums in minutes or in seconds maybe, if you are good at it. So that will help you clear the first round. Or another thing I would suggest everyone who are trying to get into ZS to talk with the recent joinees, as they can help them in a very good way, or the campus recruitees who will be joining this year. So that is for the first round. The second round is still the case study round, where I feel you are given enough time to go through a case study, which is not so data heavy for business operations associate role. If I compare it with DAA role, which is the decision analytics associate. So for if someone wants to prepare for BOA role, then he or she can eventually follow your playlist, which is there in your channel. And I also did that, and that was how I cracked that second round. And coming to the third and the most important round, where many of the candidates get, are being rejected mainly, which I see, is the fit round, where you will be facing a manager. And the fit round mainly revolves around your CV, or what kind of personality do you carry, how well you communicate your thoughts, as well as it will again consist of puzzles or guesstimates. As we all know, ZS maintains this. So it will also be that. And one very tricky thing would be a stress management test, which you will not realize during that interview, but after that interview is done and you try to analyze what happened during that interview, you will get to know that, yeah, I was going through a stress test. So if you can overcome that, I think you will definitely crack it.
Great, great, great. I think that was a very detailed, answer. Thank you for that lovely tip. So that almost brings us to the end of the conversation. Just the last question, and very, very prominent and pertaining question that everybody asks. And I also personally want to know this from the horse's mouth, from you only, because work-life balance in consulting firms is something that has been talked about time and again. Because they say that consulting roles are a little heavy, you need to work day in day out, and it's very difficult to maintain the work life balance, because moreover this hybrid work culture has created more stress. You need to work late hours in the evening, even in the night you need to complete some project deadlines, maybe when your clients are up there. So I really wanted to know, being associated with a consulting firm, how difficult is it to maintain the work life balance? And the youngsters that are coming into the forefront, what suggestions would you give them when they join the consulting firms, that how to maintain their work-life balance in the consulting firms?
Okay. So regarding the work-life balance, the first thing I would suggest to the ones who are aspiring to join consulting is to be vocal about your own work. Like if you don't want to work long hours, like be vocal to your seniors or team leads or managers, that how can you manage your work within that minimum time that you wanted to work. You don't want to work, for example, 12 to 14 hours, and you are burning out. So talk to them, find some solution. There might be exceptional cases where you have to work obviously maybe 10 to 12 hours based on a client situation, but it shouldn't happen most of the days if you are working on a single project, mainly for a single client. which I am a part of. So I handle a single project under a single client. So mainly my work-life balance is pretty good. So in that way, it depends on the team. It also depends on the client you are working with. If you can communicate this to them also. For example, if I take my case, I work with a client in US. So we get a very short span of time that overlaps. It is around 1.5 to 2 hours. That is the overlapping time. So our team has communicated that to the client that, see, this is the 2 hours that you get to communicate with us. So if you want something, then you can mention that within these 2 hours, but after that, these 2 hours will not be available. The offshore team will not be available. So they have agreed. In some cases, they might not agree, but you can manage and you can like bring something in the middle, not putting it all on yourself, right? So
Understood.
that is I feel how you can manage. And like one thing I would also like to mention, there is a saying in Hindi, कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है. So if you want that exposure, right? If you want good exposure or multiple projects, if you want to handle multiple projects, or if you want to handle multiple domains at the same time, then you are directly telling that, yes, I am capable of doing multiple things or multitask at the same time. So eventually that will affect your work-life balance, right?
Yes.
So you have to decide in that way what you want to do. In the short term, you can devote maximum of your hours like that. In the long run, maybe you can settle for a single client or a single domain where you are comfortable and you are more working on your maintaining a good work-life balance. So yeah, it's all about how you adjust your hours, daily hours, because nowadays we have some of the influencers, one of which I follow greatly is Rohan Jain, who is very popular in Quora, in LinkedIn, and nowadays he's posting a lot on Instagram too. So being in the consulting industry, like he's able to do all this, and even after this, he wrote a book also. So if he can, then all of us can. There is some way. You have to find that.
Yes.
We just have to stop cribbing about it. Once we stop that and we try to find a solution, we'll eventually be maintaining a good work-life balance.
Absolutely. Bullseye. Absolutely agreed with you on that. It depends on the perspective of the individual who is actually there in the scenario. If one can believe that he can, then he or she will always find a way to do it. So that brings us to the end of the conversation, Sanglap. It was an absolute blast to talk to you, just like you have in ZS. It's an absolute ball, let me tell you. Any last minute tricks or tips or any last minute suggestions to the newbies who are around the corner, just to enter a career, maybe after MBA or even after BTech, they're about to enter their consulting career or even other careers as well. Any tricks and tips that you would like to give them that would help in their corporate journey ahead?
Okay. Like, I don't think I am in that state currently to give tips like that. But what I would suggest is there can be two possibilities. One is a planned approach, that you want to do consulting and you are planning to do consulting. Okay, so then you plan whether you want to be in the top tier firms. So then go through the MBA route, talk to the employees of those firms, get to know which of the industries they're handling, how is the work-life balance, how is the pay, how is the growth, everything, and take it in a planned manner. One thing that can be that. One thing can be just go with the flow. If you want to do consulting, get into it, and then figure out like what is best for you in consulting, if at all. Or if not, then I don't think consulting experience is a waste in anyone's life, because even in a short span, whatever you learn from your seniors, your managers, principals, partners, everyone, you can learn just by observing them, how they are conducting themselves in the firm. So that wouldn't go into waste. Even if you feel that, yeah, you are not built for consulting, you have an exit option. Everyone has an exit option. So that is the two paths I feel one can follow to get into consulting and discover themselves out if they are fit to do it or not.
Great, great. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's like either learn swimming and then dive into the ocean, or dive into the ocean and realize that you can swim. So basically learning
Yes.
on those lines. Absolutely agreed. It was absolutely wonderful interacting with you. Here we conclude the 5th episode of Experience Matters. If you like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel. We will bring more academic and industry experts to talk with us. That's it for today. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.